Welcome, guys. Second attempt. So I'm inviting Isaac Chacon to the conversation. And once he joins, we're going to talk about the rapture. And perhaps we may be raptured. Not just by timing, but by worthiness, because I'm still here. So I missed the 23rd, I didn't get raptured, and I'm unworthy because I'm still here.
Hey, brother. Perfect topic to open up with.
Yeah, but we've been exposed.
Oh, we're still here.
Yeah, we didn't.
Oh, fuck.
We didn't cut the grade. See, I was saying I was holy. We were saying, you know, we're on the holy diet, and we flunked.
We flunked. We got an F on this one.
Mm.
Man, shoot. Maybe next time we'll get it right. Oh,
Yeah.
wait, there is no next time, because that's what churchianity teaches, right? They teach that there's no next time. You get one chance, right?
Yeah. And you've got to guess the right church too.
You got to get the right church too. Okay, is it Mormon?
To make it Mormon, because you won't be able to drink coffee. And don't go Southern Baptist, because the Northern Baptist will kill you. And of course, the Catholics did the Crusades and the Inquisition, so you don't want to have that on you. And the Lutherans, they murdered and plundered many in the US of A. And the 30-year war of the Christians fighting Christians and murdering Christians, and they're all going to be raptured. All 501c3 Christian corporate churches, which are registered on the New York Stock Exchange, including the Jehovah's Witnesses.
All of them. They're all corporations. Corpses.
Yeah, I was trying to say that to a couple of Jehovah's Witnesses when I was first leaving in 2005.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they would come and watch me. I'll be busking on the streets, right? So the Jehovah's Witnesses would always be in my life. And anyway, so I got into a conversation in a break and with them, and they asked me why aren't you going to meetings anymore? And I said, well, do you know that the Jehovah's Witnesses are actually incorporated? And did you know that they were in bed with the UN? They registered with the UN in... I remember, because I was an active Jehovah's Witness. In 1992, all of a sudden, the Watchtower's tune toward the UN, who was the enemy of God, and the UN is satanic, right? I remember I was there for decades, knocking on people's doors as a Jehovah's Witness. Then all of a sudden, I started noticing that the Watchtower was talking differently about the UN. It just changed its tune in 1992, the year my son was born. So
interesting.
Yeah. So they were starting to speak favorably, saying that it's a provision from God, that because if society fails, you know, that there will be a body there to look after us. And I'm like, what? And then in 2004 or something like that, it was exposed to the world, and they had to write an article in the Watchtower explaining, their excuse was this, that we had to become NGOs of the UN to access their library. That is their official reason for being NGO, which means whores of Babylon, which they are, and pedophiles. to boot. But it was exposed online, and I told it to these guys. I said, "You've been exposed because you've been in bed with the UN. Haven't you noticed the Watchtower's been speaking favourably about them for the last 10 years?" And they just laughed at me. So now these things are being exposed. They are being exposed. They're all, trying to hold their control over this very, very corporate Christianity based on a historical Jesus who never came and who is not returning, because Jesus is the Christ within. You see, what they don't understand is that we are separate from the animals. You see, we have our consciousness is called Christ consciousness. It's different to animal consciousness. Now that's only, though, the people who are truly awakened, mystic, right? Not spiritual people. They're not awakened. I'm talking about mystical people. Spiritual is the air level. Mystical is the fire. Okay? Mist, M-Y-S-T is fire, M-I-S-T is water. So the Neoplatonists had it that the earth were hylics, that they were sensual people. That's the element of earth, hylic.
Yeah.
The water people, these are psychic people, right? And that's what Plato called the water baptism. He called it the false baptism. And that's where the Christians are at. They get baptized with water, and then they don't do what John the Baptist said. I baptize in water, but the one coming will baptize in spirit, air, and fire. Well, that baptism is above the water element, which is air, spirit. Spiritual. Now, these spiritual people, they're more semi-awakened. They're intellectual types. They intellectualize philosophy, and, they're sort of grooving around with the funky, I've read the scriptures, the Eastern and the Western, and I have a broad and grasp. They've got no clue. The mystic is the clairvoyant. They have this open. They are clairvoyant. They see clearly. They don't have channelings, like the guys who, I'm channeling the galactic gazugly book, and they change the voice, and they do all this fucking stupid shit, right? And people go and pay $1,000 to see them, like Bashar and all these crooks, donkeys, absolute fucking donkeys. Instead of teaching people, be self-empowered, no government owns your soul, and fuck the religions, because they're all murderous. Trump is deliberately trying to get Christians to, and especially, coloured ones of a certain colour, to hate on people of liberal non-faith, for instance. There might be some astrologers in that bunch, people like you and I, which will be perceived to be on the left now all of a sudden. Here's how it works, the left and the right. So the right is red and the left is blue. Republicans are red, Democrats are blue. Neither of them gives a shit about you. So what happens is, you see, when this guy here hides, and he puts the right and the left up, the Trump and Biden, right? You can't see that they're both it's the guy who's hiding behind these puppets, and that guy, let's call him Satan, right? The devil. So what the devil does is he gets all these buffoons to vote for the red guy, orange, whatever, tangerine. Yeah. So and then what happens is Satan, the devil, he puts his hand right up that guy's ass, right up, and grabs his jaws, and goes like this, and that guy gets to talk for 4 years with Satan's arm up his ass, and this will be Trump for 4 years with the devil. Blah, blah, blah. I promise I'm the best. I'm the one who knows. I'm going to give you. Then, after 4 years, all the dumb people, all the sheep will go and vote for the red or the blue. And this guy comes in. So Satan takes his hand out of Trump's ass, puts it up this guy's ass, and this guy does this for 4 years. And the devil, which is the shadow government and the black nobility and the corporations and your BlackRocks and your Vanguards are getting very, very, very wealthy. Meanwhile, a lot of people are hitting the road, homeless.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we could easily point to that devil possibly being Bibi, correct? How Bibi really kind of owns, or Israel, whatever, owns the United States government through AIPAC, and you just see these puppets playing out their performance like they're literally hand puppets, as you just illustrated.
Yeah, but of course, it's obvious. He's a criminal. His own people know that he's a criminal. But if we're going to take this ideologically, theologically, or geopolitically, you have to understand that the Christians are up to no good, the Jews are up to no good, the so-called Jews, and the Muslims are up to no good. They're all up to no good. Now, I'm not saying that the Christians are not good people. I'm not saying that Muslims are not good people. And I'm not saying that Jewish are not good people. I have them all around me as my friends. And I teach the Quran and Jewish. Everyone knows that. I teach syncretism. So I love Hebrew. Been learning it since I was a teenager. Okay, so that out of the way. Where was I going? So
we're talking about the Bibi controlling the United States government.
Yeah. Okay, so there was a guy called Giuseppe Mazzini, an Italian Freemason from the one of the most powerful lodges in Italy. They work for the Savoy family. I know this because I am best friends with the granddaughter of the king of Italy, Vittorio Emanuele, right? So she's a Savoy, and she tells me a lot about the Savoy family. Okay, so they commissioned Giuseppe Mazzini to hook up with Albert Pike in America, who was the head of the Freemasonry there, the general, famous general. Yeah. I've read his book. Now, in there, they have a plan for 3 world wars. The first one was to destroy Russia and Germany, to Tartarian. Get that technology out of the way, right? Second one, destroy the morale of humanity by creating the left and the right. Right-wing Hitler, left-wing Stalin, and another war. So, and Albert Pike had this in his book. He said, the First World War will be to destroy Germany and Russia. The second will be to have Zionism against Nazism and create a bloc, a left and a right. And then it's going to be a religious war. What they will do, the Jews and the Muslims and the leadership, this is, the guys on the street that are Muslims and Jews, they don't know this. But the bosses, the families that own those churches, because they're all corporations.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So what they're doing behind the scenes is they're making nations go back to God. We have, like Trump rallied, we're going to make this a Christian nation. We're going to go back to God. Yeah, bullshit. Yeah, like Epstein's gonna like repent. Yeah,
Right.
bring it back. It's already godless. It's already godless in many ways. And yet there are many awakened Americans, and they will save the day. They will save the day. We don't have to worry that these demons, whoever they are going to win. So, where was it going?
We were just talking about BB and the different sides of the corporations and how they, in Albert Pine's book, Albert
So,
Pike's book, he talks about the 3 different world wars. Go ahead.
yeah, so I'll finish that off. So, what they're going to do is they're going to provoke the big blocks, because the biggest religions are Christianity and Islam by far, right?
Yeah.
And Islam is always in the East, and Christianity is Western.
Yeah.
So now, rather than left wing, right wing, now we've got the Eastern and the Western hemisphere of the earth, and there will be, if they get their way, there'll be a lot of bloodshed in places like Great Britain, Australia. I don't know how many sleeper cells there are in the US of A. Canada has invited a lot of Pakistani Muslims, and they don't have good intentions.
Yeah.
So here in Mexico, it's 98% Christian, but it's different. They're still, I'm surrounded by many different ethnic groups here in Boba, right? So, yeah, they're going to have a real hard time because everybody's got machetes here and gunned up, and yeah, it's going to be a whole different scenario if we do not wake enough people up.
This is why astrology is important, everybody, because astrology, astrotheology, is what wakes the world up from the illusion of religion. This is why Santos is as zealous as he is, and why he's been as zealous as he's been for the last 18 years since he started his YouTube channel. When he stopped being a street performer and went gung-ho on being on a content creator, spreading truth via YouTube and all these social media platforms, it's to wake the world up from the illusion so that we don't walk ourselves into a world war by seeing through the illusion of control. It's like this. Imagine that the devil is holding a laser pointer, right? And you're the cat, and the laser pointer is going to the left and going to the right, going to the left and going to the right, and going to the left and going to the right. And here you are, the cat. You're looking at each side, and you're trying to find the laser pointer. You're trying to find the laser. You're trying to catch the laser, catch the laser, catch the laser, catch the laser. But many people have seen that viral video recently of this cat that's watching the laser pointer on the bottom of the floor, but eventually something just clicks in this cat, and he just stops looking at the laser, and he looks up at who's holding the laser pointer. That is what matters. That's a metaphor for what Santos has been doing for the last 18 years, what I've been doing since I started creating spiritual content, and that we're trying to show you who is holding the laser pointer. We're trying to show you and free your mind from these religious shackles that are designed to control your mind and restrict your spirit. Because you are a spiritual being having a physical experience, but you've been lied to and tricked into thinking and believing that you get one chance to live this life, and you better believe in this one guy that died and resurrected for you, and you have to worship him. Otherwise, not only will you never get to see your loved ones again in another realm, but you're going to spend eternal existence in hell. Literally leading with fear, leading with guilt, leading with shame. Any good leader, any true leader does not demand worship, number one. No true leader demands worship. No true leader demands that you get down on your knees and worship them to attain whatever it is that they're trying to teach you. No. Every true leader, every real leader wants you to stand up on your own 2 feet and live like they do. Lead your life the way that they do. That's what real leadership is. Santos is a leader, being an Aries sun sign, because he took action first. He's the one who really kick-started astrotheology on a major world scale. And that's why astrotheology is catching steam all around the world, and people are waking up all around the world. That's why it's so important, guys. This isn't some cult. This isn't some religion. This is the true holy science of God's clock. This is a holy science, and it's the root of all sciences. It's the root of all education, you could say. It's the root of all truth. Genesis 1:14 says, then God made the stars, the sun, and the moon for signs first, then for seasons, then days and years. It says that in Genesis 1:14, that you should be observing the stars for signs, seasons, days, and years. But we've been tricked into thinking that you have to believe in this one individual that you think was literal, and that you must worship them if you ever want to experience a heavenly realm. Oh, and I know that your mom died of cancer recently. I know that your loved one died of cancer recently. I know they were murdered. I know that you just lost all your loved ones in this time frame, whatever, and you want to see them again. Oh, if you want to see your loved ones again, bow down. Bow down and worship me. Bow down and worship this fake white Jesus. Bow down and worship if you ever want an opportunity to see these people again. Wake up. You have been taking the blue pill every single day that you show up to church. You've been taking the blue pill and sitting on your pastor's lap and letting him read stories to you, all while you're basically sitting on an erection inside your pastor's pants, because he's excited that you're still listening to him and you're still donating him money while his bank account increases. He's getting new Mercedes-Benzes. He's getting new big houses. He's getting all these new material possessions, which you're slaving away for, controlling your mind and your spirit. This is why astrotheology is important, y'all. Because it shows and tells us the truth of these metaphors and these stories, so that you can adopt the exoteric principles of the golden rule first. Treat other people the way that you want to be treated. Treat all beings the way that you want to be treated. All living beings, because we are stewards of this realm. Don't take life that doesn't want to have it taken. Number one. Number two, then you get into the esoteric wisdom. But there's levels. As Santos has taught all of us, there's levels in that Bible for a reason, so that you adopt the exoteric principles first. Then you get into the esoteric. So, guys, this is we got Israel performing the Feast of Trumpets today, possibly even right now. They may even be literally blowing the horns right this moment, whatever. I've seen so many TikTok videos and Instagram videos of so many people saying, do not believe a single thing that you see on mainstream media on September 24th specifically, because they're going to try and pull off some type of fake something. You can interpret that whatever you want to. You can do the math yourself and realize that they're probably trying to fake some type of fake rapture, some type of second coming, some type of return, so that you bow down and worship when no leader demands that of you. No true leader demands that you bow down and worship. What true leaders do is they encourage you, implore you, empower you to stand up on your own 2 feet and lead your life in a proper manner, in a holy manner, in a manner that gives more than it takes. That's what true leaders do. True leaders don't demand worship. And so, Santos, we're talking about the rapture. We're talking about, this religious control and things that are taking place right now in Israel. If you could kind of go into a little bit more metaphorically of what that verse in the Bible means when Paul is supposedly talking about being caught up in heaven and taken up to the third level of heaven, or whatever the hell he was saying. And people interpret that and thinking that, oh, they have to believe in this thing or they're screwed forever. If you could go into that metaphor a little bit.
Well, the third heaven is the third ventricle, which is in the cerebrum, it's cranium. So the third ventricle, that's the third heaven. It's been known, I think it's even nicknamed that in medical medical
medical literature.
Yeah, dictionaries and whatnot. So it's the holy. It's above that sits the holy claustrum, or the Santa Claus, right? So yeah, at the North Pole. So you've got Santa Claus here, the holy claustrum. That's what it's called. You just go to your medical dictionary. It secretes an oil which goes down your spine all the way down to the sacrum, and that is where seminal fluid is produced in both male and female, right, at the sacrum. So it sits there, right? It's energy. Yep. It's energy from the brain, from the classroom, from Santa Claus. It's a gift from heaven. It's a gift from the third heaven, the third ventricle. So this oil just keeps pouring down, right? And what's happening is that they've taught Christians, even in all the churches, right, that in sex, when you have sex, at the end you get your little reward. You have to ejaculate. Rather than
your little reward.
Yeah. So rather than teaching these young boys in the seminaries, semen and seminary, what does seminaries have to do with semen? Probably because that's where young boys were taught about the holiness of it and how to use sex so as not to ejaculate, but to injaculate. So therefore, you're not wasting a lot of magnesium, potassium, hydrogen, zinc, iron, and life force out of your body. And what you do is then you inseminate yourself. See, so in the seminaries, the young boys were taught how to inseminate themselves, because if a man does not inseminate himself by ejaculating, he will never be a man. He will always be a boy. And that's why the women say men will always be boys. Boys will always be boys, you know. So, yeah, the reason being is because they were taught that when you stimulate your organ, you have the reward at the end and it has to come out. Well, no, it doesn't. The young boys were taught that when they had the arousal, they were taught how to stimulate their organs, and they were taught to hold that in and drive it up their spine, right? Because what happens is that oil has
222 right now, by the way, no accidents. You're talking about this at this time.
Sorry?
It's 222 right now, by the way, for me at least. No accidents. You're talking about this right now.
Right. So,
you're talking about the ejaculation, the holy oil.
Yeah, okay, so the oil that proceeds from the claustrum, which is actually where all of your, this feeds all the organs. This is where your body, all the cells, it all comes from the claustrum, the Santa Claus, right? So, and what the same as with your breaths. At birth, you have you get an allocated number of breaths. That's why they say in the East always breathe slower, and you live longer. And you see people, yeah, they're the ones that, and they breathe quickly through fear and panicking, and they shorten their lives. Well, it's the same with the claustrum. We all have different strengths in our sexual bodies. Some people have a lot of libido, other people don't have a lot of libido, right? So that's the strength of the sexual body. It's the same as the strength of the physical body, right? So, so as that oil descends, it gets differentiated at all the glands. First, the pineal gland, then the pituitary gland, then the thyroid, then the thymus, then the adrenals. What's next? There's two more.
Adrenals would be up here.
Yeah, okay.
Thyroid.
All right. So what happens is that oil descends. It's the manna from heaven.
Yeah.
Right. It comes from heaven and it feeds the Israelites. The Israelites are the organs.
Okay.
Right. So as it gets differentiated, it loses its unity, its purity. So with sexual practices, right, where you ejaculate and you don't lose that vital fluid, it is now pushing up the oil and it becomes a gas. As it returns, as it ascends and goes through all the chakras, it accelerates its speed, and by the time it hits the pineal gland at the 33rd vertebrae, right, it's at the third ventricle. And then behind that is the fornix. And what happens is when the oil goes back and ascends, that's Jesus being crucified at the top of the medulla oblongata. That's the right there. And Mary and Joseph are at the foot of the cross, because Joseph is the pineal gland and Mary is the pituitary body. Therefore, what happens is a signal, an electric signal, is sent through the fornix, through the pillars of the fornix. I forget what they are called now because I haven't spoken about this for a long time.
All good.
So a spark of electricity goes through those pillars, the pillars of Hercules, which are at the back of the fornix. And within 3 days, there's a darkness that occurs in the individual. They go dark. But after those 3 days, all their dormant brain cells in the cerebrum are activated. And this is how you don't have to do this all at once. See, a lot of people are rushing the process by speeding up with doing lots of chakra exercises and stuff like that. I'm not saying not to, but it's going to happen naturally if you take care of your sexual practices. You just have to learn to have sustained. If you want to have a sustained orgasm, you guys, like, rather than 3 seconds of and you want to have a smile on your face for, say, you want to have, say, a 2-hour orgasm without ejaculating, because the moment you ejaculate, it's over. The bliss is over. You go to sleep. And the woman, she's there waiting, and she's like, what do I do next? I thought there was more to it than this. Well, you see, that's because the little boy wasn't taught at the seminary how to ejaculate while having an orgasm, so that he's fertilized himself. Now, what he's done is he's fertilized the young girl, unwanted pregnancy, abortion, and all those other
kinds of problems.
See, we have allowed this. we have allowed for our young men and young women to be unprotected in the head. Forget about the condoms and the pills.
Yeah.
To be masters of your sexuality. If you can't just squeeze the perineum and so that fluid doesn't come out and then it goes up your spine. If you can't do that, you can't do anything. You can't do anything. And don't be preaching about, I'm a coach, I'm a motivator. If you're an ejaculator, you're nothing. You're an imposter. You're a loser. A total loser. I'm not saying this to anyone personally to offend people who are ejaculate. I'm saying this to the world mind, you know what I mean, to the world that is listening, because I can't see any faces. So this is in general, okay? An ejaculator, there's a word in Australia, in our colloquialism, someone who does that a lot is a wanker. Yeah? You don't want to be a wanker in Australia, called a wanker.
Beautiful, bro. If you could explain, when does that process happen every month for everybody? Is it a once a year thing? Is it a once a week thing? Is it a once a month thing? For those who don't know, if you could explain that. We know, but for those who don't know. By the way, Santos, you're breaking up a little bit.
Solar plexus, like a germ, which can't size the Christ born in the manger. When the son of the into is your sin, which means child into my the womb. But and that individual is having a birth in the, if you want to generate your Christ womb. Right?
Sorry, brother. You were like really broken up for the last about 30 seconds. Right when I asked you that question, it got really fuzzy. If you could just re-answer the question from the top again. Sorry about that. I'm sorry.
Okay, so the moon, Aries moon is spent 60 hours, 2.5 transit sun sign. You, it, you,
Guys, can everyone else hear Santos correctly? I can see you clearly, bro, but the audio is coming through very choppy. So I'm asking in the comments, can everyone else hear Santos correctly? Because on my end, the audio is very choppy. Maybe it's just that one spot there, yeah.
as it,
Yeah, that's much better. This is a very important answer for the whole world to hear, so that they can properly practice this from the top. One more time, if you could. Third time's a charm.
so it happens once every month.
Okay.
When the moon enters your sun sign, your star sign, as they call it in New Age. So,
Right.
what's the sun sign? Well, that's where the sun was when you were born, right? So if
Right.
you were born on March 24th, so on Aries, you're born 6, so you're a Leo, right? Spending 60 hours, 2.5 days, transiting my sign, Aries, that's when I need to be a good boy and look after that gift from Santa Claus rather than squander it. Every time you ejaculate, you lose have a certain granted you at birth. And every time you squander some of the oil, like the foolish virgins, you die. The reason people are dying is because they're ejaculating. That's the cause of death. That is the cause of death.
The foolish virgins who used up all their oil too early. They didn't have any oil left to light up their lamp. So true. So for those of you who didn't hear, if the audio was choppy for you, he said it's when the moon is passing through your sun sign, and your sun sign is essentially where the sun was in which sign of the zodiac on its ecliptic, which is its path, the moment that you were born. So you want to be aware of the moon and its transits, because if the moon is passing through Leo and you're a sun sign Leo, you do not want to be participating in adultery. You don't want to be participating in gluttony. You don't want to be participating in fornication. You don't want to be participating in any of the 7 deadly sins, to be wasting your oil within, because that's exactly what happens if you're participating in these 7 deadly sins. You're wasting the oil within. And this is a holy oil, a sacred oil that remains sacred, and you can preserve it and raise it back up if you're not participating in these degenerative activities. You know, in the degenerative world, guys, observe the masses degenerating, using all their oil. These foolish virgins using all their oil. Observe those masses and do the opposite. Go the opposite way. When you see sheep walking themselves to slaughter, following a black sheep, because this black sheep knows what it's doing. This black sheep knows that it's leading them into the house of slaughter. The black sheep knows that. The black sheep is literally trained to do that. Don't be that sheep. Go the other way. Go find your shepherd. Who's the shepherd? The shepherd is the sun. That's the shepherd. And, you know, yeah, Santos, I'm really grateful that we're going through this right now, and specifically today with everything going on worldwide. And for those of you who did not catch it, if you're afraid of some rapture taking place where you're going to miss the second coming and not get caught up to heaven before the tribulation, it's not about that. It's about you preserving your oil within. That's what it's really about. And all the sacred mystics who have lived since in the last 2,000 years have taught this. All the mystics have taught this. And it's the mystics who are really leading the way in this alchemical process of our awakening. So, yeah, brother, living off of the sun. That's what it's all about. It's all about living off of the sun. Do you, and that applies to all things in life. That applies to us not being a degenerate in what we're consuming, right? Not participating in degenerative activities with what we're consuming, and living off of living foods with what we're consuming as well. You know, people will say, oh, the Ouroboros, it's the snake eating itself. Life is eating life in this realm, so that's the only way that you survive in this realm, because life eats life. Ouroboros, whatever, however you properly pronounce that. I'm probably mispronouncing it. Okay, I understand your perspective on that. Simultaneously, yes, life eats life. That blackberry that you ate today was alive. That blueberry that you ate today was alive. That strawberry that you ate today was alive. But guess what? The stem on which it grew is still alive. And that stem is regenerative and can grow more berries. It can grow more spinach leaves. You can grow more vegetables. It's about keeping the root of that plant alive so that you can keep producing fruit and then functioning and living off of that fruit. Why? Because you're the most capable beings on this planet. So why would you want to kill your source of life for you to keep sustaining and maintaining high vitality? Why would we cut our vitality, our source of fuel short? Why would we do that? That doesn't make any sense. Much less why would it make any sense to not even consume that, but then consume whatever's eating that? Animals. This makes no sense. This is why there's that metaphor in the Bible where the Christ goes into the temple, and what's the temple? The human body, and releases all the animals that are in shackles there, so that, number one, you see that as a metaphor and don't consume animals, number one, but you also see that as a metaphor and don't live an animalistic lifestyle. Because it's animalistic, it's that animalistic nature that will lead to the ejaculation, to ejecting your divine fluid within. It's that animalistic nature. But if you're thinking like Christ with your Christos, which is literally what oil is translated to, Christos in the Greek translates to oil. Oil. It's the oil within, connecting you to the third heaven that you're going to get caught up to by you preserving this oil. Guys, these are sacred metaphors. These are sacred teachings that are meant to open your mind beyond what you physically see, so that you start to see this realm from a space of, yeah, you believe in what you see, but you can also believe in what you don't see. This is why Jupiter, being the ruler of Pisces, and Pisces is the mantra, Pisces mantra is, I believe. Therefore, when you believe bigger, more things from counter space will manifest into your spatial reality. But if you doubt, Jupiter's not going to bless you. Jupiter's not going to provide you more material things to show your belief. Instead, what Jupiter's going to do is show you that that's exactly what you're lacking, is belief. You lack belief, so you're not going to have. But if you believe big, you're going to have. Fortune favors the bold, and you only really become bold by belief. You know, you got to be bold to take action on something that you're unsure about. It takes boldness. It takes courage. You don't know the end result, but you have boldness about it. So, therefore, you want to see yourself maxing out your capabilities, and then you can embody what that fortune and what that favor looks like by you having bold belief. That's when you can walk on water in this realm, by believing big, says Jupiter Zeus, Zeus, as he was teaching Jewish Peter. These are Jupiterian metaphors. Oh, Thomas, you see and you believe, but great is he who has not seen and still believes. Santos, what else do you think is important for the people to hear today regarding, you know, this Saturn and Neptune? They're basically still conjunct. Neptune's getting ready to move back into Pisces. They're both retrograde. Saturn's in Pisces. You know, we got this big push for Christianity taking place right now. What else do you think is important for people to hear right now, brother?
Okay, so the two action heroes, the Sun and Mars, have just entered new signs 3 days ago. So Mars, of course, the obvious one, we went from Virgo to Libra. Okay, so
right.
Mars, a lot of people didn't pay much attention because Mars has been in Libra in detriment for a while, and now he's in Scorpio, his own sign. So that's good. It's going to be good because Jupiter is in Cancer. So as long as Jupiter stays in Cancer, nothing can go totally out of whack. Okay, so having the Sun in its detriment, Libra, in its fall rather, Libra, but Mars coming out of Libra and going into its domicile is going to be good for action. right? For the Mars energy and everything like that. Because if you found that the last month or so that Mars has been in Libra has been, conflict ridden, trouble with your partners, fighting and arguing. Every time Mars is in Libra, there are breakups, there are heartaches, there are people, just breaking up, disastrous. So now that's over, and probably people who are going through that aspect of Mars transiting Libra. There are many other things like lawsuits and public enemies. I could go on, but that's changed now. So that resistance of Mars going through Libra, that's affected everyone, and I think a lot of crazy action. I've seen it. I've seen the bad judgments that people have made and make when Mars is in Libra. So so we've got two good placements, really, despite the Saturn-Neptune conjunction in Aries and Pisces there on the cusp. So we've got Mars in domicile and we've got Jupiter in exaltation. So that's good. That's going to be very, 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 very good in mundane astrology in general. But everyone needs to check where that's happening on their charts. So, where that transit is happening to see where the benefit's going to be.
Which, by the way, guys, you guys can both book Santos and myself for individual readings if you would like to see where Mars is affecting Scorpio in your individual charts, so that we can both help you to properly understand where you need to be taking action in your life, where to avoid some martial confrontational activity possibly, as Mars is squaring Pluto over in Aquarius. Mars is domiciled in Scorpio. Yes, it's amazing, but this square is still taking place for about the next 5 to 7 days, I think it is, something like that. So you want to be aware of that square. You don't want to feed too much confrontation during this time frame. And if you want to properly analyze how to overcome the potential to be martial, I would recommend booking a reading between Santos and I, whichever one, however, doesn't matter. But we'll be able to help you and guide you throughout your specific house placements, because if you have Scorpio in the 8th house, this could be a very transformative month for you. If you got Scorpio in the 10th house and you got Mars domicile there, well, this could be great for your career. If you got Scorpio in the 4th house, well, maybe some things are shifting in your home. If you're Scorpio rising, well, you're probably going to be feeling a whole lot of energy and action to protect what you love. You see what I'm saying? So there's going to be different modes of how this nature is being nurtured throughout this entire transit, as Mars will be in Scorpio for roughly 60 days or so. And it's very important. I'm really grateful that you brought up the Jupiter exalted over in Cancer. We're seeing some harmony with these water signs, guys. We're seeing some harmony take place with this, right? And so, yes, Saturn is in Pisces, and it almost makes time seem like it's an illusion, like it's not real, like it doesn't exist. Saturn being the planet of time, Pisces being the sign of illusion. But we got, if you're looking for a Messiah, it's Jupiter in Cancer. Okay? If you're looking for a Messiah, it's Jupiter in Cancer. That's really what it is. Why? Because Cancer's on the rising sign of the Earth in the Thema Mundi. Check the Thema Mundi. Look this up. This is not me making this up. This is not Santos making this up. Look up the Thema Mundi and look up what it means. This is the chart of the Earth from ancient Egypt. So the chart of the Earth has Cancer on the rising sign, a.k.a. the body. So Cancer is literally representative of the body of this realm, right? Who's the ruler of Cancer? The moon. So simultaneously, we want to be watching the moon and how Jupiter is stimulating this moon all year throughout next summer. So you want to be watching where the moon is. You want to be making sure that you're not taking too much feeding confrontation, right? Because the feeding of the confrontation can lead to you cutting things off that don't serve you, and that can be good. That can be good. You cutting things off that don't serve you, uprooting these fig trees that are not bearing fruit. That can be good, absolutely. But also, understand that it's domicile there, and it's at home there, and maybe you just want to be leaning into protecting what you love. And so much of my relationship with Mars that I'm healing in this lifetime, I've realized so much that Mars is really compassionate. It has so much passion, and that's why it can be aggressive, because it's about protecting what it loves, right? They say women are from Venus, men are from Mars. Well, if that's the case, and men are martial, it's because we're protecting this Venusian energy that we love, that we see that shines bright and beautiful and is harmonious, opposite of Mars. So you want to lean into protecting what you love, not destroying what you hate. It's the creation that's going to lead to your ascension, not destruction. Creation. Operate on the creative plane, not the competitive plane. The competitive plane is a very low-level plane. That's where hell is. That's the competitive plane. You don't need to go compete. Mars is the planet of competition, yeah, but it's also the planet of creation. Lean into that creation. I'm encouraging you. Really glad that you brought up that Mars transit, brother. Really glad that you brought that up.
Yeah, and as for Saturn and Neptune, the good thing about the 4 outer planets, the generational and the non-personal kind of planets, is that they're all sextiling each other. They're not squaring. So this is good. I see this as amazing. They're all sitting on cusps, sextiling.
Yeah.
And
that's why we're seeing so much change. All these cusps. Everyone's life is changing right now. Everyone around me, all their lives are changing right now. Sorry to interrupt, but yeah, continue.
Yeah, and the middle one has that conjunction of Neptune and Saturn, right? So right at the return point for every planet, right, which is 0 degrees Aries. So
yeah.
So there at 0 degrees Aries, the start of the ecliptic, there's 2 old boys, you could call them, Neptune and Saturn, right? And then they're flanked by Uranus in Gemini and Pluto in Aquarius, sextiling, which is a good angle. That is called a benefic angle, right? A lesser benefic. So these...
And they're both trining one another.
Yeah.
Uranus and Pluto.
Yeah, exactly. But if this was squaring, this would be like really tumultuous, really, really heavy. Not that it isn't. It's quite heavy for a lot of people. The amount of stuff that's going on that is being manipulated by powers that shouldn't be. So the whole thing about learning astrology is it opens your mystical nature, right? You escape the spiritual trap. Oh, I'm spiritual. He's spiritual, so he must be good. He's spiritual, he goes to church. Well, that's someone who is only baptized in air, but pneuma in Greek, pneuma, or pneumatics. The word pneumatics, which is air, which is spirit. So, yes, after your water baptism, you're supposed to get baptized in intellectual, spiritual philosophy. Yes, but you don't stay there. There's the next baptism, the baptism of fire. Have you heard? Oh, they just gave him the baptism of fire. He just got baptized with fire, he did. Right? Why did I say that? Because it's the ultimate freaking baptism. And that's MYST, mystical. That's why if they use the word mystical in a derogatory way, they think they're doing humanity a favor. But the Bible speaks about the mystic. It says you need to know the mysteries of Christ. You are only drinking the milk of Christ, not the bread, not the meat. You're not eating the solids. You're still a baby drinking milk. You need to go mystical. You need a baptism of fire. On Pentecostal, there was 120 disciples in the upper room. They all had the fire coming from their heads, 6-inch flame of fire. Why? Because they were born again. If you don't have this baptism and you've just been baptized by water, which Plato called the false baptism, you see how they do a number on you. They don't talk about, the spiritual baptism and how to have a fire baptism. They don't teach how to do that. And one of the ways is through proper sex, apart from proper diet. So they're eating bacon and ejaculating and going to church at the same time.
Fuck.
It's like
it's Saturday night ejaculation, Sunday morning bacon, eggs, and cheese, and then church right after. Fucking.
You can't. They've destroyed the whole purpose of church. It's blasphemous what they're doing. It's blasphemous. They don't understand that, because in the New Age, they tell you that they've done studies where ejaculation improves the health, it keeps you stable, it releases tension and anxiety. No, it doesn't. The reason why I decided to be a non-ejaculator in 2007 took me 5 years to master it, but in 2012, mid-2012, somewhere thereabouts, I said, that's it. I ain't going to do that no more. And why? Because in the 5 years between 2007 and 2012 that I was doing grey tantra, I found that every time I did ejaculate, I was like disturbed, uneasy, edgy, shaky. The next
Not
day,
as energetic, I'm sure.
Arguing with my partners, just feeling depleted. And I thought, right, that's it. Every time I didn't, I felt great. I felt motivated. Woke up with spring in my step. No guilt, no shame. The ejaculation has a shame component to it. It's shameful, and that's why.
Yeah.
And just the fact that the man falls asleep straight away shows you how disgraceful and unloving that is toward his partner. That's just selfish gratification because you've never mastered your sexuality.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
That's
So
a disgrace on men.
it really is. It really is. And it's truly what Christianity relies on, to be honest. Christianity, no. Let me rephrase that. Churchianity, I'm going to stop calling Christianity Christianity. I'm going to start calling it churchianity. Why? Because churchianity preys on your guilt, and you will be the most guilty constantly letting go of your seed. Number one, you will feel the most guilty constantly letting go of your seed because you've severed the connection between you and God. The cerebrum, the ram, the holy of holies, where God comes and meets you. Climbing Jacob's ladder and you meet God face to face at Penwell, Pineal. You've severed that connection once that happens, number one. So they prey on your guilt, they prey on your ejaculation, and they literally try to get you to ejaculate because that's what they are too. That's their ejaculates. Number one. Number two, then they prey on you eating the guilt of animals. So that you have to say prayers. Okay, when I say they pray, I'm using P-R-E-Y. They're preying on you. They're predators preying on you. These are predators preying on you, your mind and your soul, so that you feel guilty sexually, eat guilty physically based on you eating animals that wanted to live, and now they have trauma in their nervous system, and then because they were murdered and they want to live, and they were completely in fear before the moment that they were killed and murdered. So then you then eat that guilt. Then, because you woke up Sunday morning, had bacon and eggs, you're guilty from letting your seed go the night before. You're guilty from eating the bacon and eggs that morning. Now you're going to go listen to your pastor, who should be leading you to the stars. Instead, he's leading you to his bank account while he takes all the money to the bank. This is the slave system of religion, and it hits all avenues of your life. You must wake yourself up from this control. Churchianity has been designed to control your mind, body, and spirit. It's designed to control you mentally so that you misuse your body physically, which is the temple for God. This is the temple. God does not dwell in temples built by man. It's written in the Bible. It says, I do not dwell in temples built by man. Instead, the kingdom of heaven is within. What could that mean? What other temple would he be talking about, this individual be talking about? What kingdom of heaven would that mean within? They are one and the same. It's the human body. Keep your human body pure, and you will never experience this severance where you feel like you need a mediator to connect you to God again. If you stop participating in the 7 deadly sins, you'll stop cutting off your connection to the 7 heavenly planets. Simple as that. Stop participating in the 7 deadly sins, and you will stop severing your connection to the 7 heavenly realms, the 7 heavenly planets that are trying to teach you how to evolve so that you don't repeat this karmic cycle over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. You keep coming back, keep coming back, keep coming back, keep reincarnating, keep reincarnating, keep reincarnating. It's the same as a video game, guys. If you don't beat the video game, if you don't beat the level on the video game, what do? You play that level again until you go on to the next level. Same concept. I used to play I grew up playing so many video games. And then I realized quickly that, oh wow, life is a video game. And either I'm going to evolve and start beating these levels and go on to new levels in life, or I'm going to keep repeating the same level over and over again until I learn how to beat these levels. Life is a video game, y'all. Free yourself from these shackles holding you back from evolution, of you living up to your greatest potential. And you do that by keeping your mind, body, and spirit pure. But part of the body, guys, we got some important things to talk about when it comes to keeping the body pure and you know, not allowing death in your body. And Santos, you said that you gave up meat. What year? What year did you give up meat?
2007.
2007. Brilliant. Do you feel any regret?
No, of course not. None.
None.
Well,
you don't need it.
Well, I was a pescatarian for 20 years, virtually. Yeah.
Okay.
So I did fish and then and a bit of chicken, right? So I remember the last risotto I had, it had chicken in it or something, and I looked at it and I said, "This will be the last time that I will ever eat flesh again." And I never looked back. Never looked back. I just knew my whole memory of divinity and the whole suffering of animals and exploitation of animals and the harm that it does to the digestive system, etc., etc. And I just saw it. I saw it, and the same thing happened in 2012 when I said, that's it. I ain't gonna do it again. I'm not gonna ejaculate ever again. And so, I mean, I'd probably be a lot unhealthier and more dehydrated. I don't have a problem with hydration, apart from the fact that I breathe it for an hour every day, molecular hydrogen. But I don't have a problem with that. I see people, like even in their 40s, where I know that they do a lot of ejaculating, that there's strain in this. There's wrinkles coming through. There's the ugliness of eating flesh. The animal is coming out. More and more people are looking porky to me. I think very, very porky. I don't know if it's just the way my mind works, but people are looking like pigs more than people. Literally. And then chicken is a manufactured bird anyway. It's a hybrid. It's not even a real. It's not. It's like a pig with wings. It eats shit, and people then have the eggs and they think, oh, this is so clever. It's a chicken period basically. So you're getting all this. The chicken makes you a chicken, yellow-livered coward. So it makes cowards, or it makes the kind of person that goes out and joins the militia, not militia, mercenary, to just join an army and kill people, and they love it. It's the best. Make a lot of money, kill some people. They're a mercenary. So, yeah, when you stop killing yourself, because there's only one way of blaspheming against the Holy Spirit, and that is by ejaculating. That's what it means, because it's the Holy Spirit. It gives life. When it enters the woman, the sperm meets the ovary. It's invisible to the human eye. That's spirit. It's actually a gas. It's just gas with they merge together, and another human comes into the world, into the material world. But it's all spirit. See, and if you don't keep that gas in your body, there's people that ejaculate like 3 or 4 times a day.
Yeah. Crazy.
I mean, you hear things all your life, right? I'm 62. You can imagine, how many things I've heard about how people live run their sexual lives, and it's interesting to see that how sex has hurt people a lot, and lust, especially lust, because the ejaculation makes you lusty. You see, that's why there's so much heartache with love, and there's so much irritation and friction, and it's very, very hard to maintain a relationship. It's work. So a lot of people prefer now to stay celibate and just single, because there's less hassle, worrying about what someone else thinks or how they feel or whatever. You look after yourself. So it's so sad to see that these people out in the world, they want their churches, false churches, and their false governments. They want healthcare. There's such a thing called healthcare. Aren't we supposed to be our own doctors and let your medicine be your food be your medicine? I don't need healthcare. I'm not going to be paying insurance for healthcare. I'll do that myself. What I'm going to go to a doctor with a butcher's suit on, and knowing that for the last 100 years, doctors are the leading cause of death in history for the last 100 years. Yes, the leading cause of death. I'm going to go to a doctor. What are you, Doctor, Mr. Doctor there? Can you, I've got a pain in my tummy thing going on, and but my fingers won't move. No, I'll work that out myself. My tummy hurts. I'll take some fennel drops because it's good for the digestion.
Yeah.
Essential oils, or whatever.
The
Right.
biomedic.
I've got a laboratory here. What you see there, that ain't no kitchen. That's a laboratory. And what's on the table? There's protocols everywhere. Then I've got my magnetic bed over there, my scalar wave bed. Then I've got my Tesla coil. I've got ionizing foot bath. By the way, those foot baths. See that there? That's white thing there, right? That's for my foot baths. There are people that are making debunking videos saying that those things don't work. What those people don't understand is it's the proof is in the pudding. I do one of those every day. Every day I do one of those foot baths, and if I go in with a bad mood, I come out with a good mood. If I go feeling toxic and sluggish, I spring out of that bath. Their argument is that without you putting your feet in that bath, it goes brown or turns a different color anyway. Yeah, because you've put salt in there. It's electrolysis, dum bum, right? But but that doesn't mean it's not doing any. It's not doing any electrolysis and pulling out poisons from you, because
Right.
and the proof is in the pudding.
Exactly. Based on just how you feel afterwards, absolutely. And our feet, every single one of our organs, if you know anything about reflexology or Chinese medicine, you know that every single one of your organs is in a certain part of the sole of your feet, and you can detoxify literally all of your organs, which are in charge of detoxification from environmental toxins. You can detox all of your organs through your feet, guys. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful process. Um, Santos, let me ask you this. Do you think that eating animals, I know that what you're going to say, I'm asking for the viewers. Do you think that eating animals inflicts and encourages the animalistic nature sexually?
It makes you lustful rather than loving.
Mmm.
Yeah,
Mm.
because the animals, see, there's a law in nature. If you kill and eat an animal, don't think that the animal's not going to pay you back. Don't think that the animal is not going to get you back. Animals are spiteful, and they love life, and they don't like being eaten and murdered. And their conscious memory goes back, keeps on going while you're digesting or putrefying their rotting corpses. They're paying you back with diseases, and all the hospitals are full of non-vegans, and all the obese people are non-vegan, and all the big bum people and all the ugly people are non-vegan, and all the non-geniuses are non-vegan. So the proof is in the pudding.
Brilliant. Where?
I've got to go again, so if you want to wind up whatever.
Okay, brother. You got 5 more minutes?
Yeah, 5.
Okay, 5. Now, for those people who are looking to live a more plant-based lifestyle, we know that you've done the ultimate lifestyle transformation by Purium. If you could explain a little bit to our viewers about how Purium, the parasite cleanse, the pesticide cleanse, how it's going to help people get rid of these environmental toxins that we grew up with from eating these animals, number one, but also eating foods that are loaded with toxins, simultaneously nourishing us so that we can start to lead more of a purist life, pure, right? And pure is directly purity is directly associated with the baptism of fire because fire is pure. If you could explain just some of your own experience on how you feel on these superfoods, number one, and then just, kind of point to people about how they can go through the same process.
Well, I feel the enzyme-rich energy that I get direct. It's direct. When I'm having my smoothies, like did this morning, and added my Purium powders, I get instant gratification from the energy.
Mm,
It's natural, as opposed to people who go for those energy drinks, which are absolutely loaded with dangerous chemicals.
yeah, absolutely. But
So
it's not only nourishing, it's also detoxifying you, right? Like in some of these parasites, we got parasites all over the Bible. You could say that you've mentioned it before, the parasite in the belly. If you don't mind sharing that one really quick.
the worm that dieth not.
Mm,
So that's the parasites that are causing us to hunger. Some of them are sexual, because see what happens when you so when a virgin um, even just kisses a guy, the mother knows,
mm,
right? If the mother's in tune with their child, that they will know when their virgin daughter or son um, first became sexually active. Something changes in their energy field, right? Because what you're doing is, as soon as you kiss someone, you're downloading their DNA history. There's a lot of stuff that's coming with that kiss. you know, um, there's potentially syphilis, gonorrhea. That's in the DNA that they say, right? So, um, and many other things. And so the individual changes. They change, even with just a kiss, let alone the sexual act. Okay, so this is why you see a lot of people who've had multiple partners, or who are, polyamorous.
right.
They're also neurotic, psychotic, and toxic. It shows, abstinence and purity. See, what happens is when you don't go chasing that sexual gratification, you turn love to yourself,
Mm,
right? You have to learn ways of loving yourself, because we have been taught to hate ourselves. We have.
right. But giving yourself living foods is one of the number one forms of self-love, guys. And that's what you can do with the Purium Ultimate Lifestyle Transformation. For those of you who have not done one yet, guys, you guys can support Santos, you can support syncretism, and you can also feed yourselves simultaneously while getting rid of these parasites that you've been exposed to your entire life, the worm that dieth not within. You can rid yourself of these worms that's getting you to have these animalistic inclinations of both ejaculation as well as eating more animals. What if it's not you that wants those animals? What if it's parasites inside of you? What if it's not you that doesn't have all these sexual cravings? What if it's parasites inside of you? And what if just because you've been eating inorganic food, fruits and vegetables, for as long as you've been trying to be healthy, that's what's killing your probiotics inside of you, because that's exactly what's taking place when you eat inorganic food that's laden with glyphosate. Glyphosate is designed, guys, to kill anything that is not a GMO. It's designed to kill anything and everything godly. Everything godly, everything divine, everything holy, Roundup, glyphosate, inorganic food is designed to kill it. If you want to be holy, eat food the way that God intended it to be grown and eaten, organically, naturally, no pesticides. Clean your oil within once a year minimum by doing a parasite cleanse. Minimum do 1 parasite cleanse a year, y'all. You will rid yourself of these desires, these lustful desires, these animalistic desires that keep your energy, your inner God, in your lower heel-like, hell-like nature. You can rid yourself of these desires by doing these cleanses. You guys can go to Santos's website, click the link in his bio, click products, click Purium, and there's a hyperlink there to the ultimate lifestyle transformation, and you can change your own life. You will completely transform your life, what you see as fuel, and how good you feel after you have that fuel. Once you rid yourself of these entities that never should have been in your body in the first place, and then you nourish yourself with good, godly, green foods. Just like we said on our live the other day, guys, greens, the iron in greens mimics the hemoglobin in your blood. The magnesium, the chlorophyll in greens mimics the hemoglobin, the molecular structure of hemoglobin in your blood. And that's exactly what you'll be doing every single time that you have a power shake, when you have green spectrum, when you have any of our greens that we have available. All organic, raw, living foods, unlike anything else you'll find anywhere on the marketplace. So Santos, thank you so much for your time today, brother. It was a beautiful, brilliant live. I'm really glad that we got into this. Guys, avoid mainstream media over the next couple days if they try to perpetuate anything. See through the illusion, like we talked about, these beautiful sextiles taking place from the outer luminary bodies, and participate in the baptism of fire by purifying your mind, body, and soul. Much love, Santos. Any final words?
Nope. I
Love
still
you,
have
brother. Peace.